If you are opting for a career in the civil service, why should you opt for Indian Foreign Service? My name is TP Seetharam. I belong to the 1980 batch of the Indian Foreign Service, served in a number of countries and international organizations, and retired as Ambassador of India to the United Arab Emirates in 2016. After having served in the Indian Foreign Service for 36 years, I am ready, if given a chance to do so, to opt again to join the Indian Foreign Service. Of course, that's not going to happen. But the fact that after 36 years, I would still recommend to any youngster who is taking the civil service examination to consider Indian Foreign Service as a coveted service would speak loudly for my admiration for the service. What do you do as a diplomat? Many people are not fully aware of the life of a diplomat, the job of a diplomat, both positive and negative aspects. I shouldn't say negative aspects, but challenges. First of all, you will be representing India. You will represent India in other countries and in international fora. It's a matter of great pride to sit in a conference setting with a little a sign in front of you which says India. And when you speak, sitting behind that sign India at an international conference or in an international setting of different natures, you are then speaking for your country. You are speaking for all the people of your country on behalf of the government of your country. That is a matter of immense pride. It is something that is worth aspiring for. In bilateral diplomacy, you would work in an embassy or a high commission, depending upon whether the country is a country that belongs to the Commonwealth of Nations, in which case the office is called the High Commission, and otherwise it will be called an embassy. And once you join the service, you have to opt for a compulsory language. So the government gives you an opportunity to study a foreign language to an advanced level at government expense by sending you to a country where that language is used. I had chosen Mandarin Chinese and studied that language at the university, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So you will speak at least one foreign language fluently, but you will get chance to study other languages depending upon where you are posted. The nature of work of a diplomat requires intelligence. It requires ability to analyze information. It requires you to network very effectively with your counterparts in the country you are working or in an international context with delegates from various countries. It requires you to understand India's national interests thoroughly. Because wherever you are, in whichever context you work as a diplomat, your primary job is to ensure that India's national interests are protected, preserved, and enhanced. So, keeping that basic necessity, you will have to work in so many contexts and situations, guided by the kind of training that you are given and by the Ministry of External Affairs giving you overall guidance. But you are the man on the spot, and very often, using all those resources, you will have to make your own decisions and make sure that your decisions are not in any way harming India's interests. So it requires several skills that you already possess, many more which you will develop in the job. You may start as a third secretary in an embassy, and over the years, through numerous postings, you will start heading the diplomatic missions as ambassador or high commissioner, or as permanent representative in an international organizational setup. The government looks after you very well. Apart from being treated like the IAS when you work in New Delhi, when you are working in a mission outside India, you are given additional foreign allowances which are not taxable and which take into account the local living costs. This is on the basis of a UN index and is revised from time to time to ensure that you are able to live comfortably in a foreign environment. You're also provided furnished accommodation. You are provided air tickets for your family. You are allowed to take a domestic help with you, whose ticket is also provided by the government. You are provided full health coverage, medical coverage, whichever country you are in, whatever be the expenditure. Children's education is paid for in the best international schools for up to 2 children. And there are enough perks and benefits to ensure that you live a good life comparable with any other diplomat from any other country. So the kind of standard of living that you will enjoy is very good. The housing for Indian ambassadors and high commissioners are outstanding. You will probably be living in a villa or an independent house with swimming pool, possibly tennis court, a large garden and so on. We have excellent properties across the world. So you are well taken care of in terms of living comforts, in terms of education for your children, healthcare, etc., so that you don't have to worry about all these when you are working abroad. Of course, there are challenges. The challenges of moving from one country to another every 3 years or so, getting adjusted to a new culture, new environment, new set of people. But that can be a very exciting proposition. One doesn't have to see it as a negative aspect at all. You will be exposed to new environments, to new food. If you go to China, then you will get an opportunity to taste all the wonderful Chinese cuisine. And then if you are anywhere in Europe, it's a totally different picture. Southeast Asia or South Asia provide you more familiar environments and familiar cuisine and so on. What is a little challenging for the family is that it takes them a more effort to get used to new situations. Your children will be moving from one environment to the other, to a new school every 3 years, which can be a little disconcerting initially, but they make new friends. And by the time your career is over, your children have been exposed to a large number of countries and they have friends all over the world. I have served in 11 countries and 12 cities. In South Africa, I worked in 2 different cities, in Johannesburg and later in Cape Town. And I worked in Asia, in Africa and Europe. And I've also had the opportunity to represent India at the UN General Assembly in the first committee in New York, since I was looking after disarmament based in Geneva. And for 3 years, I spent about 2 months each year in New York attending meetings of the first committee of the UN General Assembly as well as that of the UN Disarmament Commission. So you have great variety in your work, whether it is in a bilateral context where the issues vary from country to country, and the nature of your work can also vary. From political work, furthering bilateral relations with the country to which you are sent, economic work and commercial work, which is enhancing our economic and commercial relations with that country, cultural work, promoting Indian culture and getting to know the culture of your host country better. You will be dealing with series of delegations that visit the country you are posted in. You will be assisting them. You will have to be very well informed about the objective of each delegation. You will have to put them in touch with the right people for which you should know their counterparts in the host country very well. And you should be able to follow up on outcomes of these visits. These visits could be that of senior officials, ministers, and of course, at the highest level, when either the Prime Minister or the President of India visits the country where you are posted. So these major visits can take up a lot of your time and energy. You will probably be working round the clock for several months preparing for such important visits. And you will find the outcomes of such visits to be extremely rewarding. In addition to working in missions abroad, after 2 or 3 postings outside India, you will have to come to India, most likely to New Delhi, to work in the Ministry of External Affairs, or to be sent on deputation to other ministries and departments in New Delhi. I've had the rare privilege of going on deputation to Rashtrapati Bhavan to work as press secretary to President of India, Shri K.R. Narayanan. That gave me a very different perspective in terms of my work, in terms of my understanding of India in its totality. Instead of just sitting in an embassy in a country, I was able to work from Rashtrapati Bhavan with very close contact with the President of India, his secretary, Sri Gopal Krishna Gandhi, and various other colleagues. I've also had the opportunity to work with Indian Council for Cultural Relations ICCR in New Delhi, where I was, among other things, able to organize an African festival, African cultural festival in India, and an Indian festival as part of the Indian Ocean Cultural Festival in Mauritius. So the variety in the nature of the work you do, whether it is political, economic, commercial, cultural, information, etc., is wide-ranging, and it's always a pleasure to learn new things. And in the Foreign Service, you never stop learning. One big difference in working in the Foreign Service is that, unlike in the IAS or IPS, you're constantly dealing with your equals. You're not like a district collector in a district working with subordinates. Other diplomats are your equals, and they are invariably the best of the people from their respective countries. So it's not a situation where you deal with people or speak down to people or show your authority. No. You are as sovereign as the other person, and you have to be extremely polite, correct in your behavior, not only in official dealings, but in your personal life as well, in your interactions with people when you work in the Foreign Service. The rewards are immense. Your sense of satisfaction can be huge in achieving various things or in promoting India's national interests. I've had the privilege of connecting people in the economic and commercial sphere, which have had significant long-term impact on our economic relations, whether it was in Taiwan or in the United Arab Emirates or in Mauritius, where we have special taxation arrangements. So I would, with great confidence, recommend to you that you must consider a career in the Foreign Service. You must keep in mind that the postings that you have are not only London, Paris, New York, Washington, and so on. It could also be Kinshasa or out Mongolia or Cambodia, where living conditions could be challenging. But those are places, again, where you will be able to do much in promoting Indian interests, in helping bilateral relations change dramatically through your initiatives and actions, even at a junior level. So, yes, there are some challenges, but overall, it is a very positive, promising career and worth being considered by all of you.